everyone, and welcome back. This vlog is basically just going to be me trying to read my library books before they're due back. So I have 3 library books that are all due back soon, so I will definitely be reading those, and then I may add another book on at the end. I haven't decided for sure yet, but I definitely need to get through these 3. But the first book is going to be The Liar's Knot by M.A. Carrick, and this is the second book in the Rook and Rose trilogy. The first book is The Mask of Mirrors. I read The Mask of Mirrors for my last reading vlog, and I gave it 5 stars. I really loved it, so I've been really excited to get to this one. I think this could be 5 stars too. But a little bit of information about this trilogy. This is a fantasy trilogy. We are following Ren, who has returned to her home of Nadezhra, and she is there to try to con her way into a noble family. She is doing this by pretending to be an estranged family member who is hoping to reconnect. And once she gets there, in order to kind of try to work her way up and be accepted into the Tri-Mentees family, she has to kind of play the games with the nobility. She gets wrapped up in that. That's a lot of what we see in book 1. And then there's also this darker side of things that go on. There's this nightmare magic, and Ren gets kind of wrapped up in trying to solve what's going on with this nightmare magic. Book 1 is a lot of the games with the nobility. The darker stuff comes in at the end. And this book has focused more on this nightmare magic and some of Nadezhra's other secrets. Already, I'm really enjoying this. There was a recap at the beginning, which I really love when a book does a recap. I didn't read the first book that long ago. I pretty much remembered everything, but it was still nice to have it. I'm about 30% of the way in, and at the beginning we get some interesting background information on one of our characters, Derosi. I'm definitely curious to learn more about him. He's a really interesting character. And I do think I'm enjoying this more now that I know more of what the terms are, what things mean, the pronunciation I've learned more about, and I'm not constantly having to refer to the glossary, because that was the one issue I kind of had with the first book, is there is a ton of terms to learn and they're not all explained. The calendar system wasn't explained in the book. I had to look that up on the website, but there is a website if you're looking for more information on the world. And to me, Ren is the main character, but there's actually quite a few POVs and main characters in this. But Ren has a new quest that she's on, some new responsibilities, and that's been really interesting. I now know where the trilogy name comes from, but I'm definitely having a good time with this. I'm hoping this one will be a 5-star as well. I think this could be a favorite series for me. So I'm going to keep reading, and I will be back when I have an update, probably around 60-65%. I'm about 60% of the way in now, still having a great time. This book is multi-POV. It has quite a few POVs. We have 3 main ones, and then some of the side characters have like the occasional POV, but I really love all 3 of our main POVs. The side characters are fun too, but they're just not as interesting. But our 3 main POVs have really changed, and it's been really interesting to see. One of them is still pretty mysterious, and I'm really excited to get to know more, but I do feel like the plot has been more exciting in this one. There's also clearly some connections between characters that we don't know about yet. I don't even know that they know about them yet, and I'm really interested to find out what's going on there. A lot of what's going on is also clearly connected, and I'm excited to find out how. We've had some really big, exciting reveals. I definitely feel another big twist coming on. This is book 2 in a trilogy, but I don't have any solid predictions as to what it's going to be, which is really fun. We also have what I think is the start of a romance. And if it is, it's going to be a good slow burn, and it's already had a lot of yearning, so I've really enjoyed them. I also think the characters have really grown on me in this one, the main characters. I really, really love Vargo and Ren and Gray. We get to know them better in this book. I also think that this confirms I need to try to read series closer together. I usually wait a little bit so I don't get burnt out on a series, and I took maybe a month in between reading these 2 books, and I feel like that worked well. I don't feel burnt out by the series, but I also definitely remember what's going on. I'm still invested in the story and in the characters, so I need to try to read series closer together, which has been a big goal of mine this year, and I need to keep doing that. But I'm gonna keep reading, and I will be back when I have something more to add. Alright, I finished The Liar's Knot, and this one's going to be 5 stars. I loved this. This series is still on its way to possibly being a favorite. I liked this one even more than the first book. We get more involved in the magic and in the mystery. We finally get some important answers. It had me really shocked at some points, and I was really excited to continue all throughout this book. I'm nervous for the last book because it is the final book in a trilogy. I really don't want to lose any of these characters. I'm really hoping that we won't, but I definitely recommend this series. If you're looking for a completed fantasy trilogy with a really unique magic system and some darker, creepier elements, then I definitely think you should check this one out. But next up, I'm going to be reading Heir of Fire by Sarah J. Maas, and this is the third book in the Throne of Glass series. Technically, I've already read 3 books in this series. I read the first book, Throne of Glass. The second book is Crown of Midnight, and then I paused to read the prequel novella Assassin's Blade, or I guess it's like a collection of novellas. And those were all 4 to 4.5 stars. I've really enjoyed this series so far, and I'm enjoying this one so far as well. We get to explore more of the world in this one, see some new places. I'm really excited to learn more. We've met some new characters that I am pretty sure are going to be really important, and I'm excited to learn more about them. It's also really interesting to see how different this is from ACOTAR, because if you don't know, ACOTAR, A Court of Thorns and Roses series is written by the same author, and they are set in the same world but in different places, and apparently they're kind of connected somehow. I don't think I've gotten there yet, and it's just really interesting to see how the magic and everything is really different. It's also been really fun to spot some similarities between the two and kind of looking for connections, because I have finished that series. I'm hoping to get all the way through the Mossverse before the new ACOTAR books come out in October, but I still have the rest of Throne of Glass to read. I have all of Crescent City, but like I said, I'm enjoying this one. I'm going to keep reading, and I will be back when I have an update. I'm about 50% of the way through, still having a really good time. Plot-wise, I think this could be the best one in the series so far. We get some new additional POVs in this one with some new characters. We have Manon, who I think is a really interesting character. Her POV feels really different from any of the others. Her character is more kind of vicious and cold. I found her really interesting to read. We also have Rowan, who I wasn't sure about at first, but he is starting to grow on me. I'm now finding out that I've kind of had some things spoiled for me that I didn't realize were spoilers until now. And it's kind of unfortunate, but it's not like a huge deal. It just kind of makes me not want to get too attached to anything for a lot of different reasons. But I'm still really enjoying the book. It's not like a big deal. But as far as things that I'm liking, some of the things that I'm really enjoying, we're seeing more of the Fae and more of the magic in this one. We also get to learn little bits slowly about Celaena's childhood throughout this series, and I'm really enjoying that, getting to know her better, her backstory. Her character is starting to make a lot more sense to me. I'm starting to develop some theories. I'm having a lot of fun kind of trying to put some pieces together. And this won't make any sense if you haven't read this book, but I love Abraxos. I just wanted to put that out there. But I definitely do think this series is more fantasy forward than ACOTAR, so if you've tried that one and didn't like it, maybe still give this one a shot. And vice versa, if you haven't liked this one and you wanted something more character driven, then maybe try ACOTAR, because the two series do feel very different to me. I actually really enjoy both of them, but even though they are so different, I'm still seeing some connections and I'm having a lot of fun with that too. But I'm gonna keep reading, and I will be back either when I have finished this or if I have another update. Alright, I have now finished Heir of Fire. I'm going to give this 5 stars. I really loved this. I love each book in this series a little bit more than the last. This book felt like it was a really important turning point. There were a lot of important moments in here, I feel, and I'm just really enjoying where this story is headed. Some thoughts on the characters in this one. Chaol I did really like, but he's kind of getting on my nerves a bit now. I'm kind of unsure of him, but I loved Dorian in this one. I was kind of whatever about him before, but I really loved him in this one. I also like our FMC Celaena more and more in each book. I think she has shown really great character growth, and I've just really enjoyed her story. We also get some new characters and some new POVs in this book. I really liked those, and I think they'll grow on me even more as the series goes. As far as reading order goes, I'm happy with the way that I read it. I read Throne of Glass first, then I read Crown of Midnight, and then I went back and read Assassin's Blade before I read Heir of Fire. And for me, I feel like that worked out well. There are some things in this one that we first learn about in Assassin's Blade, and I liked having that fresh in my mind when I saw it in this book. I've seen a lot of people recommend reading Assassin's Blade after Heir of Fire, and I think that could work as well, but I enjoyed how I read it. I think if I had read Assassin's Blade first, I wouldn't have cared as much. Part of what I really liked about Assassin's Blade was that I was already invested in Celaena and her journey, and I'm not sure how invested I would have been if I had read it first. But there were some things in the earlier books that we did first see in the Assassin's Blade, so maybe it would have worked out. If I ever did a reread of this series, I would probably read Assassin's Blade first, just because I already kind of know what's happening. But overall, I just really love this series and I'm really excited to continue. The ending of this one, it's very clear that things are going to get really intense and kind of nerve-wracking and exciting, and I just can't wait to see where this story goes. But the next, and I believe last book for this vlog is Silver Cloak by L.K. Stephen, and this is the first book in the Silver Cloak saga. I've read L.K. Stephen's books before. I read Our Infinite Fates, and that was a 3.5 star. I liked it, but I didn't love it. But I did really enjoy the writing in that one, so I still have high hopes for this author. I don't really know a whole lot about this series. I know I've seen a lot of people really loving it. In the synopsis, it says 2 decades ago, the Blood Moons murdered Saffron's parents, and wanting revenge, she lies her way into Silvercloak Academy, where the elite order of detectives is trained, and her goal is to bring the Blood Moons to justice. Her deception is caught, but rather than throwing her out, they give her an opportunity to go undercover and tear the Blood Moons down from the inside. It sounds like something I could really like. I love books with like infiltrating and spying. I like an academy setting. I don't know how much of the academy we'll actually see. I don't know, we'll see. It seems like something I could really like. I haven't started it yet, but I'm hoping to start it soon, and I will be back when I have something to say. Okay, I'm back. I'm about 25% of the way through. Some things I'm liking about this book, this does have a really unique magic system where pleasure refills magic and pain temporarily ups the quality of the magic. We have different kind of mages, we have brewers who make potions, we have enchanters, just to name a few. Overall, I've just been finding the world building pretty interesting. We're learning about all the different kinds of religions, there's different kinds of magic, like I said. Learning about the Silver Cloaks, the different rival gangs. We're really starting to learn more about the gangs right now. And I did enjoy what was shown of the academy, but I don't think we're going to see a whole lot of the academy, because the whole point is her going undercover as a Blood Moon. There's also some side characters from the academy that I really liked, but I don't know that we're going to see a whole lot of because, like I said, she's going undercover. But I am enjoying this. I did originally have it as a 5-star prediction, but now I'm thinking maybe more like 4-star, which is still really good. I'm just not loving it as much as I had maybe thought I would, but that could still change. I am only 25% of the way in. And after having loved Air of Fire so much, I'm not really surprised that I'm kind of struggling to love this the way that I thought I would. Maybe I kind of set it up for failure, I don't know, but I hope not. But I'm gonna keep reading and I will be back when I have an update. I'm about halfway through Silvercloak, and I'm still liking it. I like the writing style in this. That doesn't really surprise me. I really liked the writing in Our Infinite Fates by the same author. I feel like the world is pretty detailed. I feel like the characters are pretty well written. I do feel like I know them pretty well and I kind of understand them. But at the same time, I'm kind of having similar feelings to Our Infinite Fates, where I'm enjoying this, but I don't feel fully invested. And I do think part of the problem is I like these characters, but I don't really feel fully invested in their stories. Our main character, Saffron, I like her, but I'm just not super invested in her yet. And the side characters, I do feel like I know them and I like them, but they have kind of started to feel unimportant. When at the beginning of the book, I was kind of hoping and thinking they might have a bigger piece in the story. Maybe they will later on, but as of right now, I just don't feel like fully invested in the story. But for our main characters, I do feel like we've started to see some glimpses of what they're really like beneath the tough exterior. So I'm hoping we'll explore that a little bit more, and I think that could really help with my enjoyment of this book. Another thing I did want to just point out is this is the author's adult debut. So this one isn't YA, so if you're expecting that, just know that this one's a little bit more graphic. So be prepared for that. This is an adult book. I am having a good time. I'm expecting it to be a 3 to 4 star. I think I'll enjoy it enough to want to continue the series for sure. But I'm going to continue and I will be back either when I have another update or when I finish this one. I'm around 70% of the way in, and I'm starting to get more invested in this story. I'm really liking the main characters, and one of our main characters has a pet fallow wolf named Rasso, who I really love. I'm starting to really see chemistry between our main characters. Their connections are starting to make sense. We still don't really have much of a cast of side characters, which is something that I really love, so I'm kind of bummed about that. But I'm hoping that's something we'll see more of again in the future. But I'm definitely starting to get more invested in the story and get more into it. I'm developing theories. Some crazy things have happened in these last 100 pages or so, and it's doing a good job of kind of making me feel uncertain of a lot of things in this book and just kind of not really knowing where we're going, which is really fun. I'm just really glad that I'm feeling better about this book. I was really excited about it and I didn't want to be disappointed, so hopefully this will continue. As of right now, I see it still being maybe a 3.5, 4 star. Definitely a series I want to continue, I think, but it feels more like probably a 4 star, which makes me happy. But I'm going to keep reading and I will be back when I have finished this. I've finished Silvercloak. I think I'm gonna go ahead and give this 4 stars. The first half was good, but the second half was definitely better. It definitely got me more invested. This also ended up being darker than I anticipated, so if you're not into a darker fantasy, maybe that's something to keep in mind. But I do really enjoy a darker fantasy. There is a lot that I kind of feel conflicted about, not like whether or not I like this book, but more about the characters, the situation, who should I be rooting for, who's really the good guy, is there a good guy? These are definitely flawed characters, which is something that I like. I do wish we had a bigger cast of side characters though, that actually were more important. I had really started to love the main characters, Levin especially, and then things just kind of changed. And like I said, I'm kind of conflicted. I don't really know what to think right now, but that's kind of fun. I'm excited to see where the story goes. I will definitely be continuing it. I just think it feels more realistic when everyone has their flaws and we're not reading perfect characters all the time. I also really enjoyed the world. We had a unique, detailed fantasy world, a unique magic system that was really interesting to learn about. I thought it was really well done. This is more of a fantasy forward book, so if you're looking for something that's more like romance heavy, this may not be for you. But what we did get, I really enjoyed, and I did end up getting pretty wrapped up in this fantasy world. The second book comes out, I believe, in September, so the wait isn't too terrible. I also saw somewhere that the second book is multi-POV. I'm not sure if that's true, but I think that would be really good if it were. I decided to take notes as I read this to kind of have a summary so I don't have to reread this. I feel like that kind of is an issue for me with these 4-star reads. When I really like them and I want to continue the series, but I have to wait and then I've forgotten things and I don't want to reread it, it kind of keeps me from wanting to continue. So I wrote myself a summary, so I should be able to continue this one without rereading, which is good because I do want to find out what's going to happen here. But overall, I definitely recommend it if you like a unique, detailed world, magic system, flawed characters, and like magical crime families. I think you could really like this. But that's going to be the last book in this vlog. Let me know in the comments if you have read any of these books and what you thought of them, or if you're excited to read any of them. I will leave my Bookstagram and my Goodreads in the description. I would really appreciate it if you checked them out. But I hope you all enjoyed this video, and if you did, please leave a like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it, and I hope to see you all in the next one.